Assassin's Creed Shadows just dropped a new game mode, of course, the domains, and I've been playing a lot of it and want to give you some tips and share my build that I've been using. So overall, I think it's smart to get some of the exploits early, because the most important thing with the domains are the modifiers. That is what really determines what the domain will be about and what weapons and stuff you can use. So being able to have like one free reroll is going to be very important. So you want to, I think, at least spend 4,000 on this. The more like you spend on these exploits, especially the domain ones, the easier it will then be to get the domain coins that you can then use to spend on other like rewards. And the thing is with these rewards that you can of course also get, they are nice,
treat yourself.
but you will not have them on your higher like enchantment level. That is of course increasing their damage, so they will not be better probably than the build you're currently using. So that's why I think it's smarter to focus on the exploit tree first, get the restock station as well. This is also very important. Cheat death, extremely important. Get at least the first upgrade so you can basically get a second wind before you have to do things. I don't have these because, the tokens, like, I'm not really running out of those. And here you can, like, reroll, you do another, like, reroll modifier. So it is very smart to have these active and spend your mod coins here first before buying rewards. Okay, let's now go to the gateway. So let's create a domain right now. And then you kind of want to look at what the modifiers are before you engage. So enemies inflict poison buildup on hit. It's pretty good. So yeah, that's not a nice modifier to have. 10% chance to remove 1 health segment on hit, but enemies take 84% reduced damage. That's not nice. 100% damage, but with abilities, but you lose 5% of an adrenaline chunk per second. No, we don't like this. So we wanna like generate a new domain. Let's completely do it. And again, it doesn't cost us any tokens because we have that exploit. Attacks have minimal impact on enemies, and enemy attacks have minimal impact on you. All enemies are armored, cannot pierce through armor, that's fine. And domain contains additional enemies. So this is a really nice domain to do. So totally try and do these domains only when you have the best like modifiers. Otherwise you're kind of wasting your time if it's modifiers that are not really nice. So I want to show you gameplay with Naoe in a moment, but first some tactics with Yasuke, because Yasuke is actually a very nice option for this. So you want to use your silent arrows, because then you can immediately, as you can see, nuke a very great health bar from the enemy. Sometimes I just poke them a bit as well with my arrows, and I can do stuff like this. I think we have an enemy in the back. So that is the second wind. So that is not very nice. And you will now see my other tactic that I'm doing. So the fact with the enemy's armor, that means that, okay, they have like quite some armor that I have to nuke first before I can deal damage to them. So that is, it basically hurts the some of my combo. It makes it a bit harder to do, but overall just takes a bit more time, but I can still very quickly take everyone out here. And I've been like wasting like rations and stuff, and that is fine because I have like a refill station close by, so I can just grab everything again, grab my arrows again, etc, etc. See, I'm now fully filled up again. So this is the build that I'm using, and this is a very nice build, because you basically, as you can see, can just stagger enemies, deal a ton of damage. So what I'm using is the Blade of Yumminess. I'm gonna move my head a bit. I have a video up on how you can get this. I will leave a link to it in the video description. But this is a very nice weapon, 250% damage, but can't use abilities. That doesn't matter because we're using that cheated attacks are postured and make enemies vulnerable from a base game legendary weapon. And then you can just do the left bumper, L1 and R1 and just spam that. So then you surprise enemies, you break their defense, and yeah, you deal a lot of damage. I'm also using a bow here. This is a Helix bow, but it was at the exchange once. But of course any bow works. And I'm also just making sure that I get way more damage. So I have this epic one, 8% damage per adrenaline chunk filled. Like I'm not using abilities anyway, so I always have full adrenaline. 20% damage to enemies above half health. You can like find something else for that, but this is another one like posture damage per adrenaline chunk filled. Like I'm doing posture attacks, like that is the attack that I'm doing. And 50% crit chance while undamaged in combat. I'm mostly like in combat. Or like undamaged when I do that tactic. This one is of course important also for Naoe. You have a similar amulet. 1% damage per unspent mastery point capped at 200%. Super crucial. I always have 200 unspent mastery points. So then you already get 200% more damage. And 50% posture damage on next hit after a kill. Again, I'm killing people. I'm doing this attack. And they can just keep going. Yeah, then we just spam this tactic. Make enemies vulnerable thanks to the perk. And we're just spamming this. There is like one modifier as well that makes that gives you like 100% more damage with bladed combat, which kind of OP. And yeah, because I spent a lot of the exploits here, I can just easily get this chest. Like I know there are like multiple of them. And of course, when you start the boss fight, you also refill all your stuff, so that's kind of nice too. When you see this glow, you know, okay, there's one of these refill crates. Here I'm doing the silent arrow, nuking the guy. I can just from here probably take him out, maybe use some of the blood arrows or poison. Up, final daisho right there. Nuking it with the silent arrows. There we go. All 4 daisho are down. Let's do the boss now. And I know some people have been saying, oh, every time I get like all the students, I just redo the challenge level. But here, okay, see the amount of damage that I do. But you don't need that. Like with this build, you can very quickly just take care of all these students if you have that boss. Of course, this fight is pretty easy. You just want to ignore his Usa attack. And apart from that, just kill his clones with either your sword or your bow. And of course, immediately heal if you are being attacked, so you don't. Sometimes he can do like a huge damage spike, so you're at least always full health. And again, if I'm always full health, I get the 50% crit chance. Okay, so now we are back with the boss, so we can hopefully kill him. Oh, he's almost dead. One more hit.
Mod coins have 2 parts. You see,
so this was like
and the coin.
less than 50 minutes for a level 7 challenge domain, which is kind of good. And yeah, it was a piece of cake. Let's do another challenge 7. Hunger Games, 50% chance to get a ration on kill, 10% on boss hit, but cannot health except for rations. Domains contain fiery. On a successful attack, 10% chance to trigger a mystery gift. This is also not bad at all, actually. Also with Naoe, you can just skip the enemies. Just focus on killing the daisho. With Naoe, I have 2 builds. I have a stealth build that I can quickly use to take out enemies. And I have a combat build that I switch between when I get caught. So for now, I look around, see where the daisho is. He's there. See that I can get this guy. And I want to get in line of sight for the daisho. Because I can insta-kill him with this build. Not if I get spotted. Okay, that sucks. Then I switch to my combat build. Well, I'm on fire again. And then, yeah, you want to vault over enemies and kill them like this. The thing is, though, they made it so that you cannot vault over the die show. I think they nerfed it for for a reason. But that means that I have to do other things to make the enemy vulnerable. And the Shadow Piercer ability is really great for that. So just throw it. Now the enemy is vulnerable and they can kill them. Of course, you need to fully upgrade the Shadow Piercer ability. Okay, so now I got my target. You can see a lot of health segments, but I can insta-kill him. And the way I do that is with this build. So I have a ghost or like a purple hood, which gives me an extra health segment removed on an assassination. And I also get +2 health segments removed on assassinations in the shadows. Now, I'm always in the shadows because of this item. There's a Helix chest that was at the exchange many times. If you use this, you vanish after 2 seconds while crouched or prone if you are in stealth, and this counts as shadows. So this basically adds 2 extra health segments for that kunai kill. And then I also have the 2 health segments removed on an assassination from the main story reward red like assassin outfit for Naoe. Then I also use this extra adrenaline chunk when killing an enemy using a tool. So I just have that for when I switch to my combat build. And you always, of course, want to have that 1% damage per unspent mastery point kept at 200. And I always have more than 200 mastery points unspent. I use this Eagle Head Kusarigama as well, so you can do the rush assassination to jump to someone. And like regularly, I have the tools auto revamp on use in exchange for 150 mons, so you have an unlimited amount of kunai. This sadly doesn't work in the domain, but that is that for the stealth build, so that you can insta-kill every samurai die show. Here you see, very nice to have the Kusa with this as well. They can just chain to multiple enemies if they don't see you. It's another die show that we can probably insta-kill. It did work, I just didn't see the health segments removed. If you, for whatever reason, you're forced to switch to the combat build, that's of course possible. Again, Shadow Piercer is your friend, first hidden hand, so you already remove a lot from the enemy. Now you want to make them vulnerable and then do that heavy attack with the Tento. And you deal a lot of damage. And now you can just run around, kill some enemies by vaulting over them. And use that heavy attack with the Tento. Vaulting over them is just running, of course, against them. And then you can insta-kill everyone.
Okay, here we go.
There we
Boss
go.
fight time.
And then we got everyone cleared. So now we can do the boss fight. Let's see which one it is. Doesn't matter if it's the many students. With Naoe you can still beat them. I only have 2 rations, but yeah, you will refill during the boss fight, so it doesn't matter.
Fight to the death against Noputsuna's students.
Okay, we're going against the students.
Band in history.
The hidden hand doesn't work. So yeah, it's mostly... For Naoe, the students are kind of annoying, for sure. So yeah, it's really focusing on the Shadow Piercer, making sure they are vulnerable because of that, and then killing them. Waiting for that Shadow Piercer to get up cooldown. And then rinse and repeat. What you can also do is throw smoke bombs. Very nice. Then they're also running away, you can kind of like make them an easy target. There we go. Just do this. And then spam that the heavy attack of the Tanto. Deal a lot of damage. Make it vulnerable, so you increase your damage a lot. And there he goes. And I'm kind of saving my smoke bomb for the final wave. Because against one I can easily manage. There we go. And now we have one more group to go. See, it is a great smoke bomb. I don't really know what's happening, and I can just go crazy on them. Now I can kill this guy. Yes, okay, only one. It should be enough.
Outstanding performance.
Boom. Okay. So this is that combat build that I'm using. Folding over enemies is really important on the head as an engraving. I have the 50% chance as an adrenaline chunk after 4 consecutive hits. Really nice too, although not really needed. And the 50% damage to unharmed enemies is very good for that one-time charged heavy attack with the Tanto. Of course, also here, make sure you have the plus 1% damage per unspent mastery point, and also the plus 1 vulnerable damage per mastery point in Assassin, because again, we make enemies vulnerable and then we do a huge damage spike. I'm using this Tanto, but you can actually you want to just upgrade that Shadow Piercer. Shadow Piercer now removes 2 health segments. It's actually very good too. Because like in the domains, the Shadow Piercer is very, very strong. Now, of course, if you have any tips, drop them in the comments down below. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments down below as well. Subscribe for more Assassin's Creed content. Check out my previous video by clicking on the screen. And good luck in the domains. Goodbye.